Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Welcome to the podcast, concerts that made us, interviews and stories, tales from the bus. We love taking you back to when it all went down. The greatest live shows and that cheering crowd sound. It's concerts that made us, concertsthatmadeus.com.
Hey, this is Presley Tennant, and you're watching Concerts That Made Us.
Presley Tennant, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's fantastic now. I'm looking forward to diving into your music. So your latest release, Somebody Like You, it's a great song. Take us deeper into it.
Yeah, so thank you so much, by the way. So Somebody Like You, I wrote with Mr. Michael Delaney, and it was kind of one of those things. I was out with some friends for a birthday, and I ran into a few people, and there was something that really stuck out to me with what was said. And it reminded me of, like, like sometimes after a relationship ends, someone in the relationship might say, like, oh, you're never going to find somebody like me. And it's like, okay, I can be a little bit I'm gonna keep it PG. I can be a little bit sassy. Um, so I would say, well, good. Like that's kind of the point. Usually when a relationship doesn't work out, you kind of want to find something that's a little different. And so I was talking to Michael about this. We were getting together to write a song, and we were trying to figure out what to write about. And we just started talking about life, and I brought up that situation. He was like, "Oh, so you hope to never find somebody like them?" And I was like, "That's what we're writing about. Like this is the song." And so we wrote the song, and I felt like it was so fast, like the way we wrote it. But I think maybe because it really happened, and I was like digging from personal experiences and things like that. But then also making it like very. I feel like the verses and everything like that is very cut and dry. Like it's just like things that you don't want from somebody. It doesn't matter who it is or what the situation is. It's just normal things. And so we wrote the song, and it's finally out, and I'm very, very excited. It's the first single back in about 2 years. I want to say it's been a while since I put out music, but I am very glad that that was the first one out, and there's so much more music to come.
Oh, glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Bit of an interesting one. What was the original vision and how close is the finished product to it?
Honestly, it's pretty close. I would say when we just did a work tape on it, and so we wrote the song, laid down like a scratch tape, and it didn't sound great. Like it was just like, okay, let's get through it, get the layout of it, and then I think we recorded it like two or three more times just to make sure like all we're happy with it. Um, and then I brought it in for the tracking session. I sent it to all the guys, and so they got all the charts and things like that. And I think it's magic whenever we go into track because it's like they take a song just from like a work tape and it's full production, and they just hear things so differently than what I would ever think of. And it takes a special ear for that. And so I like applaud them. That's why I say it's magic that goes from nothing into like the full thing. And I'm like, okay, in 3 minutes. And I'm like, well, our job here is done, guys. Thank you so much. No, but they're incredible. And so when we finished tracking it, I was like, this is exactly how I imagined it, and I'm very very glad that it turned out the way it did. And then getting to work at like soundstage to get it all tracked, it was just incredible.
Brilliant. Brilliant. How has the reaction been? Are your fans absolutely eating it up?
Actually, yes, I was like a little nervous because after 2 years of releasing music, it's always a little nerve-wracking to like put out music again because you're like, oh my God, like how is this going to be perceived? Like, is this going to go across right? And as soon as it was out, it was just like the response has been so incredible. I'm so grateful for all of it. And then it's been playlisted a bunch by Spotify and Apple Music, and I did not think that was even going to happen for like the first song back. I don't know. I'm like, I won't believe anything until it happens because I've got my hopes up too many times. I've been let down. So I was like, when they playlisted it, and I was like, what, you're kidding right now. Like, you're kidding. This isn't real life. But I don't know. It was just a really cool moment. I'm really glad a lot of people have put it on their playlist and are listening to it nonstop. And I'm very, very grateful.
Definitely, definitely. I have to ask though, why 2 years? Why did it take so long to get new music from you?
It almost, I think during that time, it didn't feel like it was that long because there was so many things going on in the back end where I was like, okay, like I want to. During that time, I had written a lot of music when I was 18 to 20 years old, and I'm 22 now, but I'd written a lot from 18 to 20, and I felt like it was just that one chapter in my life where you're growing up, you learned a lot more things, you go through more life experiences, and so I felt like time really just flew by, and especially during COVID, that's when I was releasing all this stuff, and after everything kind of died down, and then I got to the point where I put out the EP, and I was like, okay, I want to make sure I'm doing this the way I want to do it because I feel like I was learning as I went. Because the music industry is a little difficult if you don't know what you're doing too much. Even when you think you have an idea, it could still be very difficult to navigate. And I was like, I've been doing this since I was 10. I've been in the music industry since I was 10. So I was like, I feel like I have a pretty decent idea, but even now I'm still learning so many things. But I would say last year and the year prior, like all of this year and last year, I have been going out to Nashville consistently once a month, writing with so many incredible writers that I've looked up to for so long. And so it's just been kind of getting the new catalog of music going and seeing writing so much so I can see which one floats to the top. that like really like resonate with me, especially during that time in my life where I'm like, okay, like what can I put out? Like what feels the most me at that time? And so we have 4 or 5 songs ready just to be put out for this year, and then writing on top of it even more. So there's even more to come after that.
Oh, lovely, lovely. You probably don't have a date for the next one, do you? How long do we have to wait?
It's a lot sooner than everyone thinks. I can't say the date yet, but it's something coming very soon.
Brilliant, brilliant. Now, something I keep coming across when I was researching you was California country. Now, as someone from Ireland, I've never heard of that term. It's the usual traditional country, Nashville. What is California country?
So I feel like when I hear California country, I think a lot of people will say that they resonate more with like the Buck Owens type country, like Bakersfield sound, because there's a certain sound that comes out of that area. But I like to say, because I'm from California, I grew up listening to so many different types of music, and I have so much influence all around me. I mean, I'm down by the beach right now, and it's like I can go down somewhere and it's like more reggae stuff, or it's more like the beach vibes, like a little Jack Johnson type feel. But then it's like I go to LA and you have the R&B, the hip hop, the rock. And so I grew up listening to all of it. I mean, country is definitely where more resonated with. But I like to say that I'm taking different influences from other styles of music and putting it in my own. So I would like to say maybe Southern California country instead of California country, because I'm like, I don't want to touch that. That's classic at that point. But I would say, I think just having all these different influences and being put in my music, but it's still being me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I like it. I like it. And something
Thank
else
you.
I'd love to speak about is something very close to your heart, riffs and rescues. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so I started Riffs and Rescues back in 2020, 2021, during COVID time, like when at the peak of it, when you weren't allowed out, couldn't go do anything, couldn't go out. And so I am a very passionate lover of animals. I have 2 dogs that are sitting right below me right now. I have a Chihuahua and a Yorkie Poodle. But they're my best friends, and all these animals, whether it's cats, dogs. I mean, I'm from Norco, which is a very horse town. We're known as Horsetown, USA. So I have a deep appreciation and love for horses. But different animals that are in these shelters or organizations that don't get a second chance at life. So we have to be the ones advocating for them because they can't speak for themselves. We have to use our voices in order to help them. And so I did that all throughout COVID virtually. And so I did live streams where I'd play songs and then I would talk about these different shelters and organizations so people would come in and join. And then they could donate directly to the organizations or shelters from the live stream. So everything went to them, which was really cool. And now that everything's kind of back to normal, I've been going in person. Like whenever I go on tour, whenever I go out of state or go play somewhere, I'll try to stop down by the shelters and just get to meet the staff and like even the volunteers, because I mean they're taking time out of their day to be there to help these animals, and that is I don't know what these animals like. There's nothing. I'm so appreciative, I think is the right word, for the time that they put into it, because so many people won't do it. And so whether it's helping advocate for the shelters or helping a certain animal find their home that's been there for a while, just whatever I can to help raise awareness, I think that's the big mission.
I love that. I love that. As you said, animals, they're like the forgotten voice, and even shelters, the work they do is amazing and they don't get enough recognition. And as well, like they don't have enough money. It's very easy for a shelter to go under.
It is so easy, and it's scary. Well, I mean, there's a few shelters and organizations that I have met over the years and have gotten close to, and it's actually really cool what they do for families that can't afford to even pay like veterinary bills. They will take on the price of that and pay for them so that animal has a second chance of life instead of putting them down. And I think animals or shelters like that, like it is so heartwarming to know, because that is just, I get that also having animals can be a big commitment, but also it's like you have to take on that commitment. I remember the one thing I was told just recently, and I was like, that has never, a truer statement has never been spoken. Like that was the best one. And it was like we're in an animal's life the entirety of their life for the most part. Like as long as they don't get rehomed and things like that, but it's like we're their best friends for their entire life, but they're only a small portion for us. So it's like the I don't know, like the aspect of like being so close to them. Like you want to give them everything, but that I don't know. That's just me. I want to find these animals homes, and I love animals so much.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, the podcast is called Concerts That Made Us, so I have to ask you some concert-related questions if you don't mind. First
Absolutely.
off, as a concert goer, what concerts do you think have made you?
Oh, okay. This is okay. Hold on. There's a few different ones. The
Right.
first one, it was my first concert ever, and it was Kelly Clarkson. And she has been a role model of mine since I started singing. I mean, even before that, like I used to sing her song just everywhere I could. And like for fun, I remember I used to record. My mom had like her Mac or whatever, and I thought I was uploading like covers to YouTube from like the photo booth thing. And I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Presley. I'm 7 years old, and this is my cover of this." And as soon as I clicked like end, I thought it was just going to YouTube. But there's so many Kelly Clarkson covers on there, and so that one was a really cool moment. I think that was like the first time I really appreciated music as a whole. And then I went to the Justin Bieber one a couple years later for like the My World 2.0, and I was like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever because the power, I wouldn't even say the power, but it's like to command an audience like that, especially for how young he was at that time. Like, I was like, I mean, he was picking One Less Lonely Girls, and I was like, Justin, pick me. And I was like, it was not that way. Um, but I think the coolest one for me, and now that I get to, with what I do now, it's like I get to open up for a lot of these artists that I've looked up to for so long. And I never in a million years would imagine that. I think getting to play for open up for Tim McGraw was probably one of the coolest. I think because he's one of the first like Don't Take the Girl is one of the first country songs I ever heard that I became like obsessed with. It was like the one song my dad and I would always play on our way to soccer practice, and it was just kind of like a little full circle moment. And then I remember standing backstage and him, and then he was like doing like his little pre-show rituals and like jumping up and down, and, like doing his squats on the stairs, like getting like the blood rushing and that sort of thing. And I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool. His pants were a lot tighter than I thought they were going to be for some reason. And I was
Right.
like, I can see everything. Like this is, I don't, it was kind of funny, but I was like, all right, go up, King. And so he went on stage and he did his thing, and I was just standing side stage, and it was one of those moments where I was like, this is not real. Like, this is not real life. It was a pinch me moment.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And you mentioned you shared the stage with Tim McGraw. There's a long list. I mean, Kelly Clarkson, Blake Shelton, to name a few. When you're playing with people like that or on the same bill as them, what do you learn?
Oh my gosh. I think, I mean, even yesterday, and it's really cool because I've met a lot of these artists that I get to open up for, but I've become friends with them. Like even yesterday, I like Cafe Anderson, and I met him a couple years back inside like a hotel lobby in Asheville, and I we had just briefly talked over Instagram really quick, and I saw him then. And we had like he was like, "Do you have 5 minutes? Like I want to tell you like share a few things," and I was like, "Yeah." And so we ended up talking for an hour and a half. It was me, my mom, him, and then I want to say like his cousin or something like that, and he just shared so much about the inside of the music industry and what he did and like his journey, and I was like, that is so cool. And then I saw him again yesterday, and it was like the same thing. We were sharing the same trailer. We were hanging out the entire time. And so I got to meet him and the rest of his band, and they're so incredibly nice. But I learned so much just from talking to these artists because they've also been doing it for so long. And so they know the ins and outs, but also getting to see it firsthand, the way a show works, like the way it runs so seamlessly from one song into another, but then they have their moments where it's a little bit more vulnerable and where they really can connect with the audience. And then it's like you've got the big party songs that like everybody's screaming in the crowd, and it's just like I don't know, I get goosebumps from those moments because I'm like, that is so special. Music is the universal language. It doesn't matter what differences we all have, but it's like as soon as music comes on, there's that one song, everybody is just all together at the same time.
Very true. Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, for the moment we're all waiting for any listeners that haven't caught one of your shows, what are they like? Give us the full experience if you can.
Ooh, I would say very high energy. I love me some good throwback songs every once in a while in there. A little throwback rock too.
Right.
Um, yeah, I a little Stevie Nicks, a little. I just love it all, but I feel like it's all kind of it fits within everything that I've been doing. But it's a lot of fun. It's like just one big party and everyone's hanging out and a lot of running around the stage. And if you guys aren't dancing, then I don't know, you guys are being boring and you need to be dancing with me. I look like the idiot up there. And they're like, "What's this girl doing?" I'm like, "Just join me. You'll have fun. Like, don't worry about it."
Oh my God. Sounds like one hell of a show.
Thank you.
Is there a show you've played over your entire career that stands above the rest? You know, it couldn't have got any better.
Oh, I think honestly, just recently I got to open up for Jody Messina. And that was such a cool moment because I've looked up to her for so long, especially like females in country music that are more like the powerhouse vocalists. Where I mean, I love her songs, and then to meet her, and there was so funny because every once in a while, like we'll pull out like this one rock song that no one really, I've never seen anybody do, and then all of a sudden we were sound checking it, and her team comes up and was like, "Hey, like, are you set on doing that song?" And we were like, I mean, yes, but like, how come? And they were like, well, because Jody has that in her set. I was like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, that's all her, girl. I was like, that is hers. But I have never seen anybody do it. And to see her do it and do it so flawlessly was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Because I'm like, okay, like, I don't know. I felt like I could relate to her in another way. Like, even already through her songs and her writing and the way she performs and the way she sings, I was like, I felt like I kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm like her, but like I can resonate with the similarities of it. But then when she did that song, I was like, damn, like we're all on the same page. I was like, at least I'm on the right track of doing everything right. No, but I think that was really cool, and that definitely has been one of the standout ones recently.
I like it. I like it. To flip that around, then, is there a gig you've done that maybe everything went wrong, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my in-ears wasn't working. All I could hear was my vocals all the way up, my drummer blaring, like drumming away. Thank God my guitarist and bassist and keys were all mic'd, or my guitarist and bassist were mic'd up, and so I could hear everything from the stage. So I just took out one, and then like turned down like my in-ears. So it was just I like to say, okay, do you know when a neon sign like burns? It's like kind of fuzzy, and then there's like that crisp line right in the middle. I like basically made my own version of that, but the way I was listening to hear everything. And then I got tripped up on a few chords, and I was like, I'm gonna fall. I'm wearing heels. My heel broke. This was like last week too. I'm not even gonna lie. And my heel broke, and then I was taking off my guitar, and it like ripped out my hair, and I was like, this is
Oh
just
man.
the day. It's not the day, but you know what? You move on and you wake up and it's a brand new one. You got to make it better. But I mean, we were rolling with the punches, but I think that's the one thing about being in the music industry. You have to be able to roll with the punches, and you can't get upset about little things because nothing. I think as soon as you expect everything to be perfect, you are going to be highly let down. You better be able to go with it. But no, I mean it was still a lot of fun, and I had the best time. But I was definitely like I could have done without those things. But first world problems also at the same time. So I'm like, gotta roll with it.
True, true. It's a good outlook to have. Now, we've heard about Tim McGraw's pre-show rituals. Your pre-show rituals. How do you psych yourself up, and then afterwards, how do you wind down?
So right before I play, I would say about 30 minutes before, I kind of go into like, I used to go into this Zen mode, but I was also I'd like to say I'm pretty shy still.
Right.
And and so I go into like this like little thing where I'm like by myself, and I'm just really diving into like what I have to do. And I'm like, okay, going over lyrics, going over songs, because I also am horrible with remembering lyrics for some reason. It just always turns out to be like the Presley Tennant remix, but like different for each show. Um, but and so I'd really just focus on that. But now I feel like the more the more I play these shows and the more I'm around different people, it's like I'm able to really just find comfort in hanging out with everybody. And I feel like it's one of those things that's like you look at each other and it's like, we got this. And it's like, you got this, I got this, we got this. So I would always say that's like before the show. And then afterwards, as soon as I finish, I run back to the green room and I fix my lipstick because it's all over my face from the mic. And I'm like, oh, I'm sweating. I gotta pat it all off, put on some perfume, like, freshen up a little bit. And then I actually end up always going out into the crowd and hanging out with everybody, just meeting everyone. I think it's really cool because I also wouldn't be able to do anything without them there. And so I'll go hang out and run and see people. And then, I don't know, I think after probably like an hour and a half, I'll run back to the green room, pack up all my stuff, and then I'll either hang out or I'll leave at that point. But it just kind of, I tend on hanging out. That's what I find myself doing most of the time. Because it's a lot of people, it's always like one big reunion. You haven't seen everyone in so long, so you got to just hang out and do that thing.
Definitely, definitely. Now, before we dive into the last couple of questions, then future plans. We've heard there's more music. Is there gigs, anything at all you can share with us?
Yes, so more music coming up very soon. The next single is called Bad Decisions because I feel like everyone may or may not have made a few of them. Um, but bad decisions make the best stories. That's what I like to say.
True.
But so new music coming out very soon, and then I'll be I'll be playing out in Tempe, Arizona on July 4th. I'll be going directly up to Utah after that on the 8th, and then hitting Vegas for a couple of days. I'll be playing 9th, 10th, 11th at Old Red, and then Stony's on the 12th, playing out in Temecula on the 13th, and they'll be back out in Nashville writing more music.
Oh my God, you're very busy.
I love it. I'm like, I have to be busy in order to function. I'm like, the busier the better. I
Yeah,
don't need
the only way to be.
Yep.
Right, the last couple of questions. So there are a couple of fun random ones. First off, what are you currently obsessed with?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Honestly, I have been obsessed with whenever I go to the gas station, I don't even have to be hungry, but like, have you seen like the salami wrapped like cheese sticks?
Mm,
I have been eating those nonstop, and I don't know why. And I'm like, I used to get like chili cheese Fritos, but I was like, is this me graduating? Is this me growing up? That like I love like a little like charcuterie board, but like portable. I don't know,
could
but
be,
I
could
have
be.
been obsessed with those recently for some reason. And then coconut water, and actually not coconut water, Pedialyte. I've been drinking a lot of those.
Right, right. Not too
So
bad, not too bad.
it's too hot out here nowadays, where I'm like, I am gonna lose my voice at some point. So I got to be hydrated.
Exactly, exactly. The next one, it's a bit of an odd one. If you had to spend 24 hours locked in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Oh my gosh. You know what? This is such a hard one. I would like to say like Johnny Cash, but also I'm like, I just want to hear the stories from like the craziest musician.
Yeah.
I don't know who would be. Okay, the first one that comes to mind would be like Ozzy, but that's because he bit the head off of a bat. But also, I'm like, do I want to hear that story? And do I want to be locked in a room for 24 hours?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, I would say like Johnny Cash.
Okay, nice
Yeah,
and safe.
I feel like that's a safe answer.
Yeah, yeah. Be, be still pretty cool though. He had his
Yeah,
wild times as well, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd want to hear about those. I don't know if I want to hear about writing that. Anyway, continue on. What's the next question?
Right. The final one. What is your go-to album? What's an album you constantly revisit?
Oh my gosh. It would be Chris Stapleton's album, and I'm blanking on the name, but it's Red, and that's how I find it. But it is, I said, I wish I had it on me right now, but it is one of the most incredible albums. But I think I've looked up to him and like for so, I mean, he doesn't even have to be singing any specific words. Like he could just be saying the word "oh," and you're like, "Yep, after that." Like there's something so incredible about his voice that I always gravitate towards. So I would definitely have to say, I mean, you can really never go wrong with any of his albums.
True. True. Brilliant. Listen, Presley, it's been an absolute blast now. Thanks a million.
Thank you so much for having me.
still remember the night in July when you pulled me in close for a kiss goodbye. Had to turn and walk away so you didn't see the tears in my eyes. You left me questions in my heart, left me wondering why I fell so hard. Why'd you have to go so fast and go so far? Do you still think about me? Wonder about that space between us. Did I put the brakes on what could have been? Do you question what we should have been? Is it all the time or every now and then? Do you wanna take that 3-mile drive straight to my house in the back of your mind? Did you not think that interstate would change the plans that we have made? I guess it's hard to hear a heartbreak 600 miles away. I still go down that road that goes down by your house to see if maybe you came back to town, but you're never there. It's just a dead end turnaround. Do you still think about me? Wonder about that space between us. Did it put the brakes on what could have been? Do you question what we should have been? Is it all the time or every now and then? Do you wanna take that 3-mile drive straight to my house in the back of your mind? Did you not think that interstate would change the plans that we have made? I guess it's hard to hear a heartbreak 600 miles away. You left me in that revealing summer, and now the tears they've all dried up, but I still wonder. Do you still think about me? Wondering about that space between us. It put the brakes on what could have been. Do you question what we should have been? Is it all the time or every now and then? Do you wanna take that 3-mile drive straight to my house in the back of your mind? Did you not think that interstate would change the plans that we had made? I guess it's hard to hear a heartbreak 600 miles away. 600 miles away.
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. And if you're interested in signing up to Band Builder Academy, use the link in the show notes below and enter the code CONCERTS and you'll receive 10% off. So, until next time, keep rocking.
Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.